Excellent. Looks like we're live on YouTube and on Facebook. Okay. We will be getting started soon. Thank you for your patience.
I got my notice.
Right?
Which reminded me to shut down my phone.
This is why we do this, right? We have this time to kind of fix these little things and start. I am starting to see some folks hop on here with us. So let's go ahead and get started. As you all are starting to hop on with us on this broadcast, you can share with us that you're on here. You can do this in a couple of ways. One, you can engage with the video by reacting to it, either giving us a thumbs up, a heart emoji, or any one of those loving ones. You can give us an angry one, but that tends to not be very favored. So react with any of those emojis. That gives us a sense of who's on here with us. You can also comment directly on the video, and when you do comment directly on the video, we'll be able to pull that up onto our side of the screen to not only see your name and your profile picture, hopefully something that you are proud of. Of course, we'll also see your message our way, and we have one of our past board chairmen, Brian Head, giving a nice good morning message to both our Mayor McNally and myself. So good morning to you, Brian. Thanks for being on here with us. If you are a returning viewer to us, then I do want to thank you for hopping onto the broadcast and encourage you to hit the share button on this video so others in your network can also see that we are live, that we're in real time, and can join us and be a part of this conversation that we're having today. Now, along the way, as our mayor provides us updates and shares thoughts, you can always type into the comment section any questions that you might have or any comments in support, or if they're against, then in against, so that we can hear from all sides what you're feeling or wanting to express. We'll always pull up your comments, as we've just done with Jenna, who's giving us a nice good morning message, and be able to share that with others and answer it for you, hopefully in real time. Now, if you are coming to us for the very first time on either of our platforms, YouTube or Facebook, make sure that you hit the like button on this video and the follow so you can get alerted when we go live in the future. And so that way we're not having that will begin momentarily for as lengthy as sometimes we do. So I do want to encourage you to be following us not only on these platforms, but all of our platforms. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Westie Chamber, and LinkedIn, Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And on all our platforms, what I tell people is they don't all share the same message. So we often use those to emphasize different information we're trying to get out there. So if you're following us on one thing, it doesn't necessarily mean you're seeing every single thing that we're doing. So find us on all social and connect with us. The only thing I haven't figured out is TikTok and Snapchat. So any experts, any experts on that, I will yield to you. We also have our current chairman, Brian Dice, who's also giving a nice good morning message to our mayor. Thank you for being on here with us, Brian. Of course, Mayor Pro Tem DeMott has also joined our broadcast. Thank you for joining us, Mayor Pro Tem DeMott. We appreciate you also filling in last week. for us in our transitional period. And we have Counselor Nirmela with us, sharing a nice good morning message our way. Appreciate all of our counselors, of course, especially after an evening that you had yesterday of a huge dialogue. So most of the time you've seen these broadcasts as Mondays with our mayor. We are revving things up. We've had some changes, as you have seen, during the time of elections, post-elections. We gave you some updates, and we have our mayor that's returned back to us, Mayor Nancy McNally, who's serving, and she wanted to be inclusive of other counselors that are serving with her. And so we've decided moving forward to have a rotation happen. So starting this week with our mayor, and then moving through our counselors and city manager, every week someone else is giving you a perspective and updates from their lens and things that the group is doing as a whole. And then we'll circle back to our mayor after we've gone through everyone. I think that's a great approach. I think it's very opportunistic for a lot of our electeds to have this FaceTime. And I want to thank Mayor McNally for encouraging that and also being on here with us. So Mayor McNally, I know that you've got some things that you wanted to share to folks. I don't want to hog this up too much, so I will I will turn this right over to you.
Well, good morning, everybody. And you are sitting in my workroom right now, which becomes Santa's workshop at this time of the year. So it's if you think it's messy behind me, I will never show you my floor. I've got projects set up of what's going next on my needles. But we did have a meeting last night, and we did honor Juliet and for small business coming up, our small business Saturday, shop local. And she gave a great pitch for all of you in small business, and we had a great crowd. So I hope they listened well, that we said anything there for especially these holidays, everybody needs to shop local, local, local. And we know what a strain this has been. And we also know there was a huge meeting yesterday. The reason I wasn't on yesterday and couldn't do this yesterday, I was book solid. I didn't hear any of the testimony yesterday. So Juliet, give us a quick update. I heard there was 950 that signed up to speak,
Yes.
and a decision wasn't made till 6 or 7 last night.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Mayor McNally, for that. Yesterday, we did have a Tri-County Health Department started meeting at 4:30 p.m. In the morning, we had Jeffco's Public Health Board meet starting at 11 a.m., which is generally when we would have done this broadcast. Now, that meeting actually ran all the way through until the start time even of council and a little bit afterward. So we had nearly 1,000 people that were on that Zoom call, and it was individuals that had signed up to speak, people that were interested in hearing what's going on, what's coming down the pipeline, those that just wanted to kind of be a part of the process and engage. Now, because there was such a volume of individuals that were signed up to speak, they did have to limit the talk time to 1 hour and 30 minutes. So
wow.
What they did start with was a couple of presentations from counterparts in Boulder, their health department, and some of the things that had transpired with their implementation of optional opt-in vaccine-approved facilities to additional other requirements that the health department was looking at. They then moved into a presentation from Denver that shared some of their numbers and how that had been changed or how it affected when the order came out for their employees to be vaccinated as a county. And then there was an executive session that took place. And so a lot of people still remained on the call. And Nancy, you were quite right. I mean, we were at that 950, a little bit over mark. And even during executive session, there were still over nearly 800 people that stayed on. So people were not letting go. There was a protest going on in front of the Jeffco government building. And then when they did reconvene around nearly the 1 p.m. time period, that was when the public comment did begin. And so public comment ran through all the way until I want to say the 3:30 mark, just because of the starts and stops from everyone that had been previous signed up. Not everyone that had been signed up had the opportunity, of course. They were 2-minute talk times, and as you can imagine, that is a lengthy meeting. So a lot of conversation was had. Toward the end, they did talk about tweaking the orders. the idea behind a vaccine passport really changed over into an approved vaccine facility, which is essentially an opt-in for businesses. So a business can opt in to a program, and they would have to follow the requirements of the health department for that program. That includes policy, includes enforceability, includes how do they manage it, and are they equipped to actually be a vaccine approved facility. Once they're approved, then they can identify themselves as such. So anyone that goes to do business with them would not have to wear a mask, but they would have to share with them their vaccine status in order to do business. So that was one component. The second component was the mask part of the order. And I wrote this out before, and I've shared it with people before. When we have shared our position, we acknowledge the full effect of COVID. I mean, I have had a couple of my own cousins that I've lost to COVID. I've had neighbors that have gone to the hospital, and numerous others that have contracted and recovered from it. So the virus is still out there. We do have to stay vigilant on getting tested, on having access to vaccines, while continuing to do those precautions of proper hygiene, especially during this time of year. Our conversation wasn't that. Our conversation and our main point was, this carries a significant weight on enforcement for our businesses and their employees to a potential even criminal misdemeanor that our businesses can face. So, I mean, imagine a 16-year-old working in an environment where they have to try and enforce something, and someone just kind of walks by or chooses to antagonize them or confronts them in a negative way, and then they're subsequently reported. Would you want your own child who is that young to face a criminal charge or a fine? And so that was where we were coming from. It's where I wanted to emphasize to people, because again, we're not an anti-mask. We are pro getting our businesses back up and going so that our families can be taken care of through those opportunities of livelihoods. And so it was very much that conversational piece. Now, Tri-County did take out that portion, according to our commissioners and the contacts that we were able to kind of push on and have that conversation with. They did take out that statutorial language around that fine imposition or jail time that's there. The Jeffco it did not. Their understanding was that wasn't something that they could do. I've not seen the drafts of these come to fruition, so I do have to say that with a caveat. This is all from that meeting directly. Know that I was on there from 11 a.m. So some of what I'm saying might be glossed over, but that is what I was able to capture. They did vote on those things to move them forward. And so that is in a nutshell what I wanted to emphasize to folks. Now, Mayor McNally, I hope you don't mind. We've got a lot of people that started hopping on here.
Cool.
Vanessa DeMont wanted to share that your idea was fantastic, to hear from everyone that's on council. And so just wanted to recognize you for that. Councillor Seymour's also on here with us, giving us a good morning message.
We have to give him a wave, because he's the man on the corner.
Yeah, and every time I see that, I feel that energy too. I see that as a good, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he has been up out there. And then Dave Carpenter, of course, is giving us a good morning message to you, Mayor, and myself. We also have Parker Brown on here. Parker is one of our fellow business owners that's in our community. And Dave commented. Dave's comment was around some of the conversation that we're having right now. Mayor McNally mentioned that yesterday there was a discussion about orders from our health departments relating to vaccines related to masks. And so I tried my best to try and summarize that. And Dave kind of was sharing that there was a comment made by the health board that the board is not charged with doing nothing. So he did want to recognize that Sherry John, which was on the Jeffco Health Board, did stand up and defend business and their concerns. So thank you, Dave, for hopping on to that meeting yesterday and for providing some input from your lens as an attendee.
Well, and I think I've heard from some of the tiniest businesses all along. They have had the choice, even when the mask mandates went away. Some chose to continue to have a sign in their window that said, please wear a mask. And I know there's several different reasons. Some are health for some of their employees that can't be vaccinated, for immune reasons, or whatever the reasons are. But those individual businesses have always had that opportunity. So it's just when we do the whole thing again, and these businesses have had changes, and we're in 2 counties. And so if Tri-County's saying one thing, Jeffco's saying another, I'll walk into a Jeffco business today and they'll put their hands up and say, and this was before I was mayor, they would put their hands up and say, how do I know what I'm supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the confusion in all of this. And you know, Juliet, that
Mm-hmm.
we saw your letter.
Mm-hmm.
And so over the weekend, I shared that with council and said, do we want to respond? And council did. It was not unanimous. And so only those that supported the stance of the chamber were listed as who sent it, so that we didn't misrepresent anything. But for me, it's because of some of those reasons. The businesses that it's just their choice. It's their business. I have people, because my business is in my home, when they knock on the door, they have a mask in hand and say to me, and they freely, I don't ask them, but they'll say, well, I'm vaccinated and I haven't been around anybody. They give you this long litany of things. And I tell them, come on in, get your whatever it is, their order, and they go back out. If somebody, which this happens, calls and says, I'm getting ready to leave, it's not that I don't want to see you, but I want no contact. So I tell them where our drop off and pickup is on my front porch, and I make sure it's out there, and they text me when they've left so that I can go get my payment or whatever I need to get from them, or if they've dropped something off. Yesterday, somebody just wanted to drop off and go. So she texted and said, it's there. So I go out and get it. So we all are operating, trying to in the safest way. So and if we have not consistent rules between the counties, then for us, that's a city in 2 counties, it becomes confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm hopeful that, as it's coming to light and as the final version comes, that maybe that similarity will be there, and that they'll have taken out that exorbitant potential fine and criminal misdemeanor that's put on those employees and employers. But as of yet, I haven't seen something come to light. And so we will continue to update folks. Of course, the city we appreciate City Council's immense support of this, knowing and mindful that there was one counselor that did hold off on providing support for this. But I'm very appreciative of the mayor and those of you that saw that implication on our businesses, and more importantly on the employees that are part of that business and the people that depend on them or that they are connected to directly. So shop small. We talked on this a little bit earlier. There was a proclamation that you, Mayor, and the council provided in support of Small Business Saturday, and that's coming right up. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't know, I emphasize it enough. I'm a transplant. I'll be here for almost 5 months in January, but there are still parts in the community I have not gone to. And so when I met with our mayor last week, I had an opportunity to see the cottage that was down in our South Historic part of Westminster. And this beautiful pair of earrings was from there, where I shopped local and then reinvested in a local artist and designer. But it cannot just only be personal. It can be for others, for gift ideas, for activities that you can be doing. But the importance and the need is to shop where you live, shop where you work. And that goes back to our community. It supports our city, it supports our amenities, it supports those families and the employers' ability to increase salary and increase pay and do all of that.
And I even show the art gallery has the art cottage. So the art gallery's next door at 3705 West 73rd. And she's got beautiful pictures, wood carvings by people. It's just go through just to watch. But I told Juliet, you have to go look at the artist from Evergreen who has national awards with he is a Santa drawer. And were those not beautiful?
They were
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. I mean, based on my nonprofit salary, I could not show my appreciation for that, but they were great work. And I
Yeah.
think what I love most about that part of our community is, especially around the holidays when they all kind of come together. So annually, there are numerous activities that take
Mhm.
place. And do we want to touch a little bit about some of the
Sure.
holiday things coming up?
Saturday, or not this Saturday, but the on the 11th, this Saturday, everybody down on 73rd Avenue is celebrating small business, and those are some of the smallest businesses you'll ever see. In the Art Cottage are five artists, including myself, that have our things there. I am manning that from 10 to 6 on Saturdays, so come and say hi. But then go on to the west and get down to Ittlebits and Creative Corner for a cup of coffee. And they always have great pastries. But it's that place is sort of like being in Cheers, and they just you're welcome like you're a norm, it's so fun. But go down there, and then the second Saturday is the art walk that they always do. And it's just, again, celebrating. They're going to have, I think, some carolers and some other fun stuff. And that day, the Grange will be open. It's over 100 years old, but there will be artisans there. I will be there with the brittle. And everything there is $10 or less. And it's meant for kids to come and shop for grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle, or whoever. There's a site for the kids to wrap their packages, so no peeking when they get home and parents try to go through things. But it's just a fun-filled day from 9 to 3. So come for that. And on the first Saturday, December 4th, of course, we have tree lighting at 5:30, but from 10 to 2, the Bulls House. And I can't tell you how many people don't know we have a museum in the city, but at 72nd and Newton, the Bulls House will be open, and you might be lucky because it is haunted, but the ghost is very friendly. I have seen the ghost in action. I haven't seen the ghost, but the ghost made me know it was present and very friendly. But go there, and we'll have people there to take you on tours and show you. It's a great time. It's dressed as the Bulls probably would have done their tree, and it's just a fun day. All of those things are free, folks, so families are invited. Go out, wear your mask, be careful, but there's still some fun things to happen. We will not be having a tree lighting this year because of everything going on, but the tree's going to be lit. It gets decorated the end of this next week, and then it will be on every night. So if you just stroll down there, that largest tree, I think it's the largest living Christmas tree in the state, go and see it lit and take some great pictures.
Absolutely. So that's a lot of ways that you can be supportive of our small and even, dare I say, micro and solopreneur businesses that are down here in Westminster. I've included that all in the comment section for those of you that are interested in going out for their second Saturday art walk, to the kiddo shop that they have coming up. And then, of course, we've touched on there are generally two lighting ceremonies that take place. So one that takes place with arguably, I know that it's been argued, but arguably the largest Christmas tree in Colorado, that's in our South Historic. That one, of course, this year will not be transpiring, but they have numerous other activities you can be doing, as you've just heard, from the Bulls Museum tour all the way to just shopping local on Small Business Saturday. And then the City of Westminster's lighting ceremony is still on for December the 4th. Now, are there precautions that are going to be in place? Do people have to sign up for that, or is it?
No,
Okay.
we're outdoors. Again, it's going to be a crowd, so probably wear a mask just to be careful. There's so much to see. Once we light the tree, we will do that at 5:30. Just there'll be some performers and different things happening. The tree's beautiful. It was lit last night as we went into City Hall. So there's lots. Just remember, if you need a Christmas card for next year, or go to the area in front of City Hall anytime, day or night. Take pictures. The train's up, ready for pictures. That tree's beautiful. Family could sit around it, take a great picture. So get those memories in those books for 2021 and enjoy it. The night of the tree lighting, there'll be food trucks around there. So, and Santa will be downstairs.
That is awesome. I've included that all in the chat section for you all. I don't want to lose sight. I do see a comment made by Councillor DeMont. This goes back to some of our remarks around enforcement and masks. And I'm just listing it so that folks can also be aware of kind of our Mayor Pro Tem DeMont's position. Of course, reiterating the criminal status that's associated with the enforcement and touching on the mental health. So be mindful and kind of people with mental health issues. I would also emphasize, thank you so much for that, Mayor Pro Tem DeMont. I would also emphasize that now that we know the businesses do have to be encouraging the mask wearing and mandated to be asking you to wear a mask, that you please be respectful and mindful of those businesses. They are trying to continue to survive in this quasi-COVID environment that we're in, and they are just trying to follow things as best as possible. So if you are not comfortable supporting them as a result of that, then I ask you to not attack their employees or them. You can also take your business elsewhere. Same for those people that choose to opt into the vaccine approved facility. If that is something that conflicts with what your interests are, then you can also choose not to go there. If you're someone who sees that it's only a mask wearing facility and it's not vaccine approved, you can also take your dollars elsewhere. So the point being is that you have a choice as a consumer to support those that you feel most comfortable in supporting and going out to. And of course, recognizing that you have your own personal values and your own personal health needs as well. And so do what you feel is in your best interest for the health and well-being of everyone that's there, but be mindful and respectful of everyone, especially those that are suffering during this time. Now,
and I think, and you hit on something very prominent at the very beginning. The everyday hand washing and things, your mask needs to be washed. Yeah. When you wear gloves, if you're, and I watch this every day, people wear gloves into the grocery store. How many things have you touched? You get in the car and you touch that steering wheel. I'm telling you, everything you just touch is on that steering wheel. So just think through that, and you'll know what needs to be cleaned faithfully. And if you don't, you're just helping spread everything.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I have also included a quick link for you with COVID-19 updates. Please feel free to peruse this. We have continued to update this page. I know I haven't been promoting it to you all. We've been promoting numbers and the data around that over the last several weeks, but this page still exists. And there you can also find vaccine clinics that have popped up, all the way to resources for employers that are trying to offer this for their employees, funding that might be out there for our businesses. So know that we are an equal opportunity sharer when it comes to information, and we want to empower you to make that decision, of course. Mayor McNally, was there anything I've not touched on or anything that you were really trying to get out there for folks?
I just would remind people too, because I get this email from Community Reach all the time. We do have, I know people that have some mental health around all of this, just because the stress, the trying to run a business, the commerce issues of not being able to even run your stores or your businesses because shelves are empty. All of that, it's been going on for a long time. So it's okay to feel like you're overwhelmed or whatnot, but Community Reach is a local group or a local business that does deal with just mental health, and just reach out to them. They have experts to help. They want to help. They know what everybody's going through, and they want to be there for you. So don't forget, it isn't a bad thing to need something. If you know, reach out to a friend, reach out to a mental health person, but reach out, let somebody know where you're at, and somebody else maybe can help navigate you if you're not thinking well, or if you run into somebody that just you can see really needs some help and needs somebody to talk to. together we can get through this, and we are getting through it. We just need to lean on each other and be smart about what we do.
Absolutely. And I've included that link directly for you folks if you're interested in accessing that support from the Reach Center that our mayor was referencing moments ago. Please visit their webpage. They have a variety of services that they are offering, but all in support of those mental health needs and challenges that we've faced as a result of COVID, or maybe just continue as a result of life and the interactions that we've had, and other things that we've inherited along the way, or have been born into. So that has been included in the comment section for you. I want to thank, of course, all of you for tuning in to our broadcasts this morning. I know that it was atypical on the day that we did this, but you just heard that we had a full day yesterday between those health department meetings and our council meeting that we had. And then, of course, now you know moving forward what the plan is for these broadcasts, and that you will see the mayor again at another future point in time, but you'll be hearing from our other counselors as well along the way, so that you can be informed as possible and be able to engage with each of them who are elected to represent you and your interests as well. And then Mayor McNally, thank you, of course, for your willingness to hop on here with me and for giving us a sneak peek into your workshop that you have going on there, and just for inviting us in this morning for a few words.
And I just want to say happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy making your pies. That's where I'm headed downstairs to start getting some of those goodies ready to go. And because we'll be rotating, I probably won't see you before Christmas. So Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Have a wonderful holiday.